bad. I was born to bring trouble wherever I'm at. I was born in the soul of misery, and I never had me a name. They just gave me a number when I was young. When I was young.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Texas Platinum back at you with another episode. We're going audio only this week. Thomas is grinding right now. It's hell week for us, so sorry we're getting this podcast out late, but big week this weekend. Number 16 Kansas State's coming to the DKR. They're really hot right now. Skylar Thompson is lighting everybody up, and we're getting a lot of starters back, so it should be a fun week. We'll see where we stand. Everything's still in front of us, it looks like, in terms of the Big 12 title, so it's going to be all hands on deck this weekend, and we got the full crew here, Trevor and Matt, so let's get into it right now.
Yes.
Let's go.
So, did y'all ever think that the day would come that Skylar Thompson would become Sam Ehlinger reincarnated?
He looks like a young Sam out there, right?
He does.
7 rushing touchdowns.
Very much.
On the season. 4 of them came against OU.
Yeah.
But
I think they've stolen from our playbook.
I mean, I would too.
With how they set it up and everything.
I mean, they're a real run-heavy offense, obviously, but you become really unpredictable when you rush the quarterback like that. So, I mean, for us, I think it's probably this is a chance for us to bounce back, like Matt said in the intro. We're finally healthy. We got who are we getting back on defense? Stearns, Green,
Caden Stearns,
Overshown.
BJ Foster's going to play and be fully healthy, it seems like.
Yeah.
Whittington on the offensive
That's
side
true.
of the ball.
That might be a nice boost, too. for the offense.
Eagles is starting, so we'll see if he actually gets snaps.
Jeffrey McCulloch practiced today. We don't know if he's going to play or not, but he's definitely trending in the right direction. So if we get him back, that just adds more depth in the front seven, more experience. He's a senior, one of our leaders. And if we get him back, then there's really no excuses at that point. It's basically the entire defense we started with against LSU and against La Tech. So
right.
Even if he's out, this defense is certainly capable enough now in terms of talent and experience to go and be what they should be now. And there's no excuses anymore for Herman or Todd Orlando.
I guess we'll finally know if it's a scheme issue or not.
Yeah.
I think we've all known that it is a scheme issue, but
we'll finally
now
get definitive proof.
now we can be like, okay, like here, like you can stop making the injury excuse, because I'm getting really tired of that.
Yeah. The way
offensively, like if you have an offensive star that's out, or like your offensive line is banged up, I understand that, but from a defensive standpoint, unless you got like a big time like star, you should be able to plug and play, and your scheme should be able to hold up, and we have not held up by any stretch of the imagination. So I don't know. I'm very curious to see what this team looks like after the bye week, because after that TCU game, it kind of sounded like everything was falling apart at the seams, team-wise, team chemistry, coaching staff, like just everything seemed to be going wrong. So I don't know. I mean, because as we've talked about going into the season, it sounded like leadership-wise for this team, for the players, the captains, even the coaching staff, everything seemed really solid. And I mean, this will show it. If we come out sloppy and bad and with a lack of chemistry, like all that we've been fed, leading up to this season is, I wouldn't say it's a fluke or a complete lie, but if these captains are actually what the coach said that they are and what we thought they were, there should be able to be a rebound happening here with this team.
Yeah, if we go out and lose this week, it's a major step back with the program, because that means that we're really, truly frauds this season. No excuses. no injuries, there's no excuses anymore, and it's not even like a lack of motivation. You can't come out and be unmotivated. There's still a Big 12 title that's very,
within our destiny,
it's really out there to get, assuming that we take care of business. I know Baylor controls their own destiny over us, but I expect OU to take them out. So the motivation should be there. Before the season, the players, Coach Herman would say that the Big 12 title was the number one goal, and it is the number one goal every year. And I think this team is definitely capable of that when we're playing how we used to play, like earlier in the season and last season. So it's going to be really, like you said, interesting to see just the demeanor of this team, the energy. And it's a top 16 team we're welcoming to town. Like, this is a big game. It's almost going to be sold out.
Oh, really?
I read a tweet yesterday, which was Wednesday for us, that there was only 1,000 tickets available remaining for
I would have never
a
guessed
day
that.
game against Kansas State.
Thought it was,
I thought our attendance was actually going to lack, especially as of late.
I'm really interested in what the student section is going to look
Oh,
like.
yeah, that'll be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a clear skies and
Day game.
and good
2:30,
60
it's gonna
degrees,
feel
so
nice.
it's going to be a good atmosphere. And we got a good opponent coming to town. Everything is there for Texas to go out and get that rebound win and kind of flip the script on the season and get some momentum going into that tough stretch in the next 2 weeks. Well, it's really a 3-week stretch now with Kansas State on the come up right now.
And I guess Vegas sees that and is assuming that Texas is going to take advantage of that and rebound. I believe on Monday we started out as 6-point favorites, and now we're up to 7, which we were all talking about this earlier, but we all are in agreement that that's very generous.
Yeah, I know.
And surprising. I wouldn't have been surprised if we were underdogs, to be honest. I mean,
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't be
Kansas
surprised
State
if
is the
people were
ranked
underdogs,
team.
something
They're
like that,
ranked
yeah.
10 spots ahead of us. Everything has shown that, they're going with an upward trajectory, and we've been going with a downward trajectory. I'm guessing they're giving us the favorite mostly based on the home field advantage, is my assumption, because that's normally what Vegas does with two teams that are pretty evenly matched. And I would say that we are pretty evenly matched. Is that a good thing? No. We shouldn't be evenly matched, but
Vegas
when you
usually-
consider how we've been playing as of late, I'd say we're pretty close, but Kansas State definitely has the hot hand at the moment.
Yeah, home field advantage really usually gives 3 points to the home team. So basically what they're saying is if this was in Manhattan, it'd be Texas.
By a field goal or something like that.
Yeah, but 4 point. I don't know if it'd be -3 +3, net 6. But either way, Texas would still be favored in Manhattan. But which is just really shocking to me. I mean, you look at Kansas State not only knocking off OU, but the way they did it, just physically, just down the stretch, just out scheming them, out physicaling them. Really, they're the first team all season that made their defense look like the old OU defense.
Yeah.
And Skylar Thompson and James Gilbert just shred them up, and Dalton Schoen, who we're going to talk about in a minute. That guy scares me. He's really good.
Yeah.
And then you look what they did last week against Kansas. Kansas coming off that big win at home against Texas Tech. They fill out the stadium for the first time in 12 years. It was a sellout. Great atmosphere for Les Miles.
The Sunshine
the
Showdown or
The
something
Sunflower
like that.
Showdown.
Sunflower, yeah.
And then Kansas State just walks in there and just destroys their rival 31-3. This team is they're a 2-loss team, but if they were a 1-loss team, they could be sneaky right now,
Yeah.
playoff dark horse, honestly.
Wow.
But
I mean, I'm treating this game like it's 2017, 2018 Texas football, bro. I don't know.
Definitely.
Yeah, just because we're in that same position. So, we got Kansas State ranked 20 coming into DCAR 6-2. They got some really good wins against Oklahoma. A good win over a SEC team at Mississippi State.
yeah,
I think they're on a 2-game or 3-game win streak. I forget.
Yeah.
Something like that. So, obviously, the point is the confidence is really high. And going back to that OU game, Jalen Hurts almost had 500 yards of offense by himself in that game and 4 touchdowns, and they survived that. So
Wow.
So yeah. So when I was thinking about how to pick this game or break down this game, I was like, man, Sam could have a perfect game, and if our defense doesn't show up like it has been.
Which is very reasonable.
Which is very reasonable.
That's probably going to happen.
Yeah. Which is probably something that might happen. That like it's gonna be a real shootout, and I wouldn't be surprised if this game is like within a field goal. So I don't know. It's just a really weird time for a Texas fan. I know you gotta kind of take off the homer glasses and just realize that this defense could or could not be the difference between us like winning out for the rest of the season.
Yeah,
definitely. Well, I think it comes down to Sam, because last game when we played TCU, he looked subpar, and I think that ultimately is what resulted in the loss. At this point, the defense kind of is what it is. It's something that we definitely can't rely on or expect too much from. So really, I mean, as Sam goes, this team goes. So if he bounces back and plays a good game, like I think we definitely have a good shot to beat Kansas State. But man, I mean, really, with every game for the rest of the season, like if he plays even average, like I don't feel too good about our chances.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate, that you have to rely that much on one player on the offensive side of the ball, and and it just looks like that our defense really isn't. Not much is going to change with it. Todd Orlando saying like that they're not changing the scheme or anything. Like nothing's changing.
To be exact, he said they're not going to change the scheme, and like they're not going to do anything out of panic. And eventually, what's going to happen is these kids are going to show up and play huge. So basically, it's just,
when is that happening?
Yeah, it's like
Why didn't you do that against TCU when
It's week 11, my guy. Like, when are they showing up?
Yeah. Just eventually, bro, they're gonna show up and be like,
"They're coming.
We're gonna play huge today."
Yeah, I'm feeling good today.
Maybe that'll be Saturday.
You know what that's like? That's like Todd Orlando, being that like guy that's set up on like some Tinder date and is sitting at the bar, and the bar is about to close.
Like, show up,
and he's like, dude, you guys stood up. He's like, no, she's coming.
She's coming, bro.
She's coming. Todd Orlando, you need to pay your tab and take your loss.
It's gonna cost him his job if he's just too stubborn with it. I mean, yes, the scheme can work in some situations, but it's just not working this season with our personnel, and probably that is due to injury. But you have to adjust. You can't be prideful at the University of Texas, especially when you're a DC. Like, those are going to be the scapegoats, the OC and DC. They're going to be the first ones to go if anything goes south. And Todd Orlando's job's been on the line recently, and if he continues to just be stubborn, and Kansas State and Skylar Thompson go out and just light us up, which is very plausible, probably will happen, then Todd Orlando might just lose his job outright due to his pride. So that's not a smart way to go about it, in my opinion. But I get it. I mean, he knows what he's doing, but at the same time,
he's not a good DC. It's just not working.
He's trusting his system a little bit too much.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Chris Kleiman. He's the new head coach of Kansas State. Came over from North Dakota State, that powerhouse. He was the head coach over there. Won multiple national championships. And you hear this Florida State job come up and with Willie Taggart, and people are saying Chris Kleiman is an option.
Oh, really? Is there already a candidate?
Florida State? Yeah, I wouldn't want it either.
I wouldn't want that.
It's not a real candidate, but he's just a name that pops up.
Pops up a lot, yeah. Just like Matt Rule.
And basically, what I'm getting at is this Chris Kleiman guy, he's a good coach.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
I was worried when Kansas State got him. I'm like, damn, he's like the perfect perfect guy. He seems to have, a really good culture. I mean, very much like Matt Rule has a good culture about him and everything, and straight lace. And, I'd say the difference between him and Matt Rule, though, is he had a championship formula with North Dakota State. I mean, those guys were balling, and I guess they still are. But I mean,
hell, man, he wasn't scared of OU's. Why should we be even remotely scared of Texas?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Right.
Exactly. And he's kind of like an extension of Bill Snyder. The offense they run and stuff is really similar to what they have been. Like the culture. Just the style they play, big white quarterback, physical. I mean, Skylar Thompson's been there for like 10 years now, but either way, it's just a very Kansas State-esque team. And speaking more to this, the funniest thing I just read earlier today was Kansas State, their offensive line, they're all five of the starters are redshirt seniors. That is the
Really?
most Kansas State thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
Maturity.
This a
Yeah.
bunch of big old white corn-fed JUCO guys. They're just like
Yeah,
gonna just
JUCOs.
dominate our 4-star, 5 stars. Yeah,
Sounds
experience.
about right.
Makes sense. We just out-experience us, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
That's normally what they do. That's their thing.
Matt, do you know if they're getting James Gilbert back, their running back, their
I
starter?
think so because he sat out last week, and I was reading an article, in the same article that said that AJ Parker, the DB, was going to be out. That James Gilbert was definitely going to come back. And I think, I wish I had that article still up right now. But they had 2 running backs that were out. Or was it just one? I'm not too sure. But James Gilbert is definitely the one coming back. So just more added firepower to that running game behind that nice offensive line.
And he's pretty good too.
Yeah.
So with the 3 down lineman scheme, it kind of makes me nervous. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm more nervous about Thompson running
oh,
because
Oh,
I mean
man.
our defense against mobile quarterbacks has been atrocious, especially as of late. So
Skylar Thompson,
yeah,
he's had 8 touchdowns rushing in the past 2 games. And
That's
That's why I got it
insane.
wrong.
And over
But
like
yeah,
300
that's
yards.
it right there, dude.
Jeez.
Jesus.
And one of those was against OU. Like, and OU's defense is a lot better this year. So,
well, didn't he have 4 rushing touchdowns against OU?
oh, okay. Well, it's 7 now. I thought he had 5. But,
me
so
see.
he's got
I'll
7
check
total
that,
touchdowns
but
in the
I'm
last 2
pretty
weeks.
Sure.
Either way, like, man,
He's running everywhere.
this could be one of those Taysom Hill nightmare type games where he's just running on us.
Oh no!
No.
Bring back those
Don't
memories.
do that.
of
Taysom
us in
I was just a
Provo
young
and-
boy when that happened. Stop. Let me see.
Man.
I want to just verify that real quick.
Yeah,
I know he had 3 touchdowns against Kansas.
OU. Oh, yeah, he had 4. He had 4
4 on
rush-
the ground.
4 in the. Yeah, am I reading that? Yeah, 4 on the ground.
yeah.
He's called, by Skylar Thompson. So
And he's thrown 0 interceptions and 0 touchdowns in the last 2 weeks during that span. So he's more of a definitely a runner.
definitely a running. Yeah, it's
Right.
not throwing the ball as much, but I mean it's working for them. So
Yeah, it's definitely working. So you just gotta sell out and make him beat you with his arm, I guess. But then they got Dalton Schoen on the outside, who has terrorized us for years.
Yeah,
White boy, super fast and athletic.
he's
big
got a
target.
Duvernay quality to him.
He really
His
does.
style of play is very much because he's a slot receiver, right? Where does he move around?
I don't really know. He looks like he's big. Like, kind of looks like a tight end, honestly. I don't really know what he is, but I know he's
Yeah,
really freaking good. He was
I
killing
just
OU.
remember
That
from
was Jordan
last time
some
Kansas
Jordan
State
Nelson
played
games.
in Austin. I remember him like catching a ball up the seam and just
taking
taking
off.
it to the house.
Just separating from our
It was like
DBs.
80-yard
Me too.
touchdown.
I remember
Yeah.
that perfectly. I was like, dang, that guy's fast.
I was like, man, like thinking back to that's definitely like a Duvernay type play right there.
It reminds me of Jordy Nelson. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh, yeah.
He came into DKR. He played at Kansas State. He came into DKR around 2006, whenever it started turning and we started sucking, before we got good again in 08. And it was one of our first losses at DKR in forever. It was Josh Freeman, the quarterback, and
Oh, God.
Jordy Nelson, the wide receiver. And they just terrorized us. Punt returns. They just blew us out. It rained. It was a rain delay. It was like the worst game that I'd ever been to at that age that I was. I was so sad. I was like probably 6 or 7, just spoiled
won the
by our national championship. Yeah. So I remember that.
Vince should have stayed.
And that was the start of the Purple Kryptonite. And we finally have kind of gotten past that a little bit in the last 2 years. We finally won a Manhattan. We won a DKR 2 years ago. We're kind of flipping the script on that.
I mean, we've been winning against them when we're home.
At home, yeah.
Yeah,
But like we finally won a Manhattan for the first time since like
Yeah, been
02.
forever. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
That was a house of horrors. What else do we want to talk about here? How about us from the offensive side of the ball? Whittington is back. I believe they have him at third string right now behind Roshan and Ingram. Do y'all see him play? I don't. Like, I'm kind of torn. Like, I kind of just want to redshirt the guy right now. He has one
Yeah,
game
I'm
under
really-
his belt.
Hasn't he had this hernia problem like since high school?
Yeah.
Or something,
Yeah.
Or something? Like I don't know. It's
Like,
like pelvic problem.
My perspective at this point, I know he's like a really good talent. I know he was supposed to be like our second string running back, but I kind of selfishly what I would do is redshirt him and have him switch back to a defensive position because I think our team needs that more.
If Bijan
Because-
sticks with us, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
when we get
think about
Bijan
that.
back, and I don't think Roshan's moving at this point. I think it'd be crazy for him to move at this point. He's definitely second string, and you have Kirk Johnson and Daniel Young if you really need a third guy, which honestly this team doesn't take advantage of at all. It's kind of disappointing, really, that they only stick with those two guys. So at that point, I'm just like, why put Whittington back?
Yeah.
You know, unless Whittington really wants to play and he's like threatening to transfer. Granted, not to create any rumors that, you know, to go around. But I mean, there's so many rumors going around this program anyway. It doesn't matter. But yeah, like, do y'all agree with that?
I mean, I see what you're saying. But I don't know. We have yet to see what we saw. Like a half of Winnington.
Yeah, no, like
Yeah.
a drive.
A drive, exactly.
One drive.
Where he had like one solid catch. Was it catch?
Catch and cut. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was a good
catch
play.
and cut. And I was like, oh, there's something there. But other than that, we haven't seen anything. But I mean, I do see what you're saying with like Roshan and Keontae. Like I don't know. We're doing.
That's really all
the
we
run-
use
we're
anyway.
we're doing pretty all right there. But I definitely would like to see at least what we have, because he might be more explosive than. Well, we know he's explosive, but we haven't. We need to confirm it on the field to make sure.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
And I mean, it looks like the coaching staff is going to play him and going to use him. So, not saying that what I'm saying is what is going to happen.
definitely a
I doubt it.
possibility,
I doubt it's going to. I doubt he's going to be redshirted. Tom Herman strikes me as a guy that doesn't like to redshirt star players.
Yeah, and I disagree. I mean, I think that from the reports we heard out of fall camp, what I saw in high school, I know it's Cuero, but this dude, and what like the rumors you hear about practice and what people say about him, this dude might be our best running back, our best weapon we can have on is like a running back on the offensive side of the ball, and we need explosiveness. Roshan and Keontae are good, yes, but there's no really home run hitter
I was
between.
about to say, yeah.
And-
They don't have breakaway speed.
And Roshan, yeah, I mean, Jordan Whittington, what he's deadly at is catching the ball out of the backfield. He's a receiver. That's what he played a lot in high school. I know he played running back too, but that was his natural position. And he's got natural hands, and he's just an elite athlete, 5-star guy.
Mm-hmm.
One of our few 5-stars on our roster, our few composite 5-stars. Surprisingly, we only have like 3, which I thought we'd have more than that.
No.
But yeah, I think you got to let this guy play, and it just depends on how the season goes. I mean, even if we do redshirt him, we still get 3 games to play him. He's only played 1 game. You can play up to 4. So we still got 3 games to play. We got 4 games left in the regular season. So, I mean, yeah, I guess if the season turns for the worst and then we lose, then I guess you can ask him if he wants to just redshirt and preserve the year. But like Herman said earlier, a few weeks ago, he doesn't see Jordan Whittington staying at the University of Texas for 5 years. So that just kind of speaks to the talent that he has.
Yeah, that's true.
And Herman just, I mean, if the Big 12 title's in play, you got to freaking play him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I just,
I
That's a
agree.
fair point.
if he's as good as everybody says he is, and he certainly looks the part. I mean, I walked by him today, walking to practice, and that was the most swaggy dude I've ever seen in my entire life.
I've seen him on campus too, bro. Like, he's bigger than you think. And
I was scared.
he definitely has top 5 most swag on the team.
No,
like,
like
legit. Like, I'm serious.
he's the most slimy player we
Yes,
have.
bro.
That's good. Our team needs that.
We need some
We
slime.
need some
Yeah.
slimes, bro.
We need some guys that, got some swag to them.
You want to pick it?
I mean, yeah,
I mean, is there anything else?
covered it all.
I want to touch on a few more things real briefly.
Yeah.
Punt game and kicking game. Are you guys concerned with Buchevsky being out? Because not only is he the punter, but he's also the holder. So we have Chris Nagar, who's with the interesting last name. Yeah. Say that carefully. But so he's taking over the roles of punting and holder. I don't know. Holding's kind of touchy,
Holding's definitely
and
like
our
a
team is kind of at
experienced
the point where we're starting to rely more on Cameron Dicker, and our games are getting closer because our team isn't performing great. So I don't know. For me, like I'm a little concerned about that. Because I mean, like shank punts and punt turnovers,
Right.
and
Our special teams have been killing us.
yeah,
So.
it's been killing us already, and it now has the potential to get even worse. I didn't think Nagar looked bad in the TCU game when I think he punted like 1 or 2 times.
Yeah,
and
he did all
it
right.
wasn't bad, especially for not having practiced it. So I mean, he had a bye week to practice. I just wanted to hear y'all's thoughts on it briefly.
I mean, it's a solid concern. You got a new guy coming into a position that's usually occupied like the whole season, so those reps might not be there. But I don't know. I think we saw enough to see that he can definitely handle the position. So I wouldn't be too worried. I'd be personally more worried about who's returning punts because that hasn't been that hasn't been the best thing.
Get rid of
I
Jake
know.
Smith. Don't.
I know.
Can you get Jameson back there? Someone was.
Yeah.
Didn't we tweet that actually?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a
It's
video
definitely more-
literally against Kansas State last year. And Deshaun Jameson housed one and really
Yeah.
just got us going
Yeah.
offensively and just momentum-wise. So
Right.
So I wouldn't be too concerned about the punter and holding. I mean, I don't want to say it's an easy job, but you got one job.
I think if it's an issue, we'll see Herman. He's always balls to the wall, anyways, going forward on the fourth down. But we'll see even more of that.
That's how we know. That's how we know.
So I think Herman trusts Chris Nagar, whatever his name is,
Nagar.
And I mean, if worst comes to worst, we'll just go for it every fourth down. We always do half the time anyway, so it don't matter.
What the hell, bro? Let's do it. Let's go for it.
At this point, yeah. And then last thing that I wanted to touch on was I think the big key to this game, if we win it, is we need to be successful with our inside running game or just running game in general. That's one thing that I think we haven't focused too much on. Well, not play call wise, we haven't called a bunch of run plays and we haven't run inside, and I think that's been creating problems for us because we've gotten really far behind on the chains. I mean, really since the West Virginia game, we've been getting into these third and long situations where, generally speaking, we do decent on, but I mean, if you can just stay ahead of the chains and run the ball successfully, I think that's going to help our offense a lot because right now we're at a point where, like I said, we're getting behind the chains, and then outside of Colin Johnson and Duvernay, our receivers have kind of been in a slump. Yeah, and I guess Sam's kind of been in a bit of a slump too.
We attempt the most passes in the Big 12, so
that's nuts.
I know.
Behind Tech?
Yeah, no, I'm serious.
What?
I saw this today.
Jeez.
Yeah, so I mean. Going into the season, we were all talking about taking the load off Sam, not running him as much, but maybe now we have to take the load off Sam by not asking him not to pass that much. Just keeping the defense honest, because when we're pass happy like that, we're very one dimensional.
Right.
And we're really relying on Sam, please just bail us out. So definitely you're right. Let's try to hopefully establish that inside running game.
Mm-hmm.
And also an important part of the establishing the run game is our best commit in our 2020 class is Bijan Robinson, and the reports coming out that he's kind of talking to other schools, looking around because Ohio State was the team that finished second. Of course, Ohio State. They have J.K. Dobbins. They're about to win the national championship.
Yeah. And
meanwhile, we can't run the ball against TCU. So establishing a running game is huge, not only for just the team and the offense to keep drives going and score points, but just if we miss out on Bijan Robinson, this entire 2020 class is pretty much a failure. I'll say it. Hudson Cards and Quindon, Vernon Broughton, they're all great players, but Bijan is a generational talent.
He's an X factor.
He's literally a program changer,
mm-hmm.
and you can't let a guy like that walk away. That'll just be just for the optics of the program.
Definitely.
As well, but you can't let talent like that slip.
He's an out-of-stater too. That's big because
nervous.
we've had to rely on. I mean, we're going to have to continue. I think in the modern recruiting era, we're going to have to rely on out-of-state players with how well out-of-state schools are recruiting Texas players. So I mean, he's a pipeline type player, much like Jake Smith was, getting another guy out of Arizona. West Coast players.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I think establishing a running game is huge, and that's also why I want to see a lot of Jordan Whittington and Roshan. I want to see them all just get carries, just be creative with the runs too, as well as going up the middle, maybe some sweeps and just counters and stuff, and some Sam keepers, just to really just make their linebackers think and not just have the green light to just go tackle somebody straight in the hole,
Right.
But yeah.
All right. Well, let's pick the game now unless anyone has any final thoughts.
Yeah, I'm ready.
I'm ready. I think this is gonna be a good week for Texas. Spoiler.
Okay.
It
Who wants to
better
go
be.
first?
Matt Madrid wants to
you
go
want me
first.
to go first? He just looked at me. Okay, so when I was thinking about this game, I had to think about. I had to go over a little bit on how they played OU. First off, their defense, Kansas State's defense, there's nothing to write home about. They won in a shootout, so scoring on them would probably not be. I know will not be an issue at all. With number one in the Big 12 for pass attempts, and Sam leads in touchdown passes as well. And Kansas State just lost the top DB, as I said earlier, A.J. Parker. So I definitely think we can exploit that a lot. We're both 3-2 in the conference, so basically this is a loser goes home kind of game.
Yes.
Yeah.
For sure. We all know we have to win out to make the Big 12 championship. And I think we have the talent to make sure we win this game. We're favored by 7. I don't have that much confidence right now that we will win by 7.
Yeah.
I think we'll win by 3, and it'll be 41-38 Texas at home.
Yeah. I guess I'll go ahead and pick next. Yeah, I mean, very much the same sentiments as you. I do see this being a field goal type game. I don't know if we'll win it on a field goal, but I do see us coming out with like a 4 3-point type victory over these guys. I kind of want to give K-State. I was really hesitant about picking Texas over K-State. But I don't know. I mean, it is at home. I do have as much doubt as I have in this team. I still do have a little bit of faith that this leadership and these seniors on this team are going to, I think, start to turn this ship around. I don't buy that Sam is going to have another atrocious game like he did against TCU. No. And again, like I said, kind of near the beginning of this whole thing, that he's kind of the guy that, you know, our wins and losses are reflected in how he performs. So as long as he performs what he's capable of performing against a defense that isn't like a world beater or anything like that, I do think we'll find a way to win. I don't think we'll win big, but I think we'll find a way to win. So my prediction is 38-35, much like you, Matt, with Texas winning.
Nice. All right, Myers, what you got?
All right, I'm kind of with y'all on this one. And I think mainly this game comes down to our seniors and Tom Herman just really having to win this game. Like, they have no choice but to win this game. Otherwise, the season is an objective failure. So I think they're going to bring the juice. We'll be at home. It should be a good atmosphere. Kansas State's it's a big game now. We're not the underdog, but they're ranked 16. We're not ranked.
We honestly might as well be on the ground.
Yeah.
Losing
to TCU and stuff, and they just beat OU. So I think we'll come in extremely motivated, extremely ready to. That loss sat with us the entire bye week. I think Herman's got this locker room in a better place than it was, and I think we'll come out with an edge, and we'll just look at that team across the field and be like, all right, 2-star Kansas State JUCO guys from Iowa.
Let's do this.
Let's go. Let's take care of business right now.
Yeah.
And then I think we'll go out and play a great game. I think we jump on them early, and I think we win like 34-24 type game.
Oh,
I think our defense plays really good. Skylar Thompson will get us a few times, and so will Dalton Schoen. But I think our defense plays its best game it has the entire season. And if my prediction is not true, then I'll be very upset.
Yeah, I think I might be a little sad.
Yeah. Just out of curiosity, what gives you so much confidence? Just that we're coming off of a bye and what you're hearing about behind the scenes stuff?
Yeah, behind the scenes stuff, all these rumors about people entering, thinking about transferring and all that, but we haven't had a single person enter the transfer portal besides Jordan Pouncey. So that's a good sign. No decommitments. We're getting a lot of players back, mainly Caden Stearns, Jeffrey McCullough, hopefully. Yeah, we got a commitment that always adds some extra juice and energy to the program. And I don't know, man. It's just this is a must-win for Texas, and I just don't see us not competing for the Big 12 championship, or at least being in the picture going into Iowa State and Baylor.
All right.
I just can't fathom that.
Yeah.
So I just think, and Sam Ellinger too. I think he's that loss must have stung him. You know how much he cares about Texas and how he played so bad against TCU. And I think he'll have a big day against Kansas State.
All
Fair
right.
enough.
All right. Well, let's move on to our next topic. So, we're going to talk about a few other topics briefly on the show, do it a little bit differently than we do. So, college football playoff poll just came out this week. We have, I believe, Ohio State number 1,
LSU's number 2.
LSU 2, Bama 3, and then Penn State at 4, Clemson at 5, and Georgia at 6. And then from there, it's Oregon and
Utah,
schools.
both ahead of Oklahoma, which is kind of surprising.
Kind of weird.
I don't know if you put those teams in the same neutral field, if they keep it close with OU. Maybe Oregon does. But, I mean, I get it. Resume, OU's beaten one
OU's
team.
lost one game, and it was against Kansas State.
That's a big,
And
pretty
then Oregon lost a close game to Auburn, which I don't know. I mean, to me, they're doing what everyone does, where they give the SEC a lot of credit, which I think they somewhat rightfully deserve.
I feel like this year they definitely deserve to.
But I don't know. I think I'd put Oklahoma over Utah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would too.
I mean, I understand Oregon being ahead of them.
Oregon,
Same with Georgia, too.
Quality lost to Auburn, the 4th best team in the SEC last year, 3rd best team. I mean, that kind of speaks to like the SEC homer narrative that you're talking about. But I mean, Auburn is a good team, so I mean, I get it. It was a last-second loss. But the thing about OU, like I think OU beats these teams on neutral fields, but OU has one win against a team with a winning record this season, and that's us. They have not beaten anybody.
That might be another
true.
big reason
So
why.
I think OU will have a chance to play into that spot. They'll have bigger games coming up with Oklahoma State, Big 12 championship, and then Baylor, and then a rematch. So I think OU might have a chance to jump these teams. But yeah, OU's on the outside looking in. But other than that, I like the poll. I like how Penn State's above Clemson.
Yeah, what do you think about Penn State at 4?
That's interesting.
I don't hate it.
I mean, yeah, they are undefeated, and they have had a stronger schedule than Clemson has. So
They've been playing better too.
it surprised me. I'm not gonna lie. But I guess I don't know. It's a nice breath of fresh air to see that the committee is not just looking at last year as
Or this
the
is
main
the eye test.
criteria.
If you think about it, having LSU and having Bama at 3 and Clemson at 5 kind of helps Clemson, because
Yeah,
one of these two teams is probably going to drop out.
No,
Probably.
Two of them are. The top 4 teams play each other.
Yeah, okay, that's what I'm saying.
Ohio
Like
State plays Penn
Clemson
State.
looking in is definitely a good thing for them.
Oh yeah,
and then
I think they're gonna be
this
fine.
might be a year. Like, I don't know. I'm just talking out my ass a little bit, but Bama loses to LSU, they're probably not getting into the playoff.
No,
I don't think so.
Yeah.
because they're not going to play in a championship.
I think
game.
LSU.
They'll have no quality
If
wins.
They have
LSU
no quality
wins
at all,
out, well, not wins out, but if LSU loses to Bama and still wins out, I do think they'll make it
Yeah.
at 4 or something like that
LSU could slip in too. I could see that.
as a 1-loss.
But
team.
then you have Georgia in the East now coming off that win. Georgia might end up with. Then okay, so say Bama.
Would you put
Bama
Georgia-
Bama
yeah.
beats LSU. LSU's 11-1. Bama's 12-0. They go play 11-1 Georgia in the SEC championship. Georgia wins that game. They all have one loss. All
Wow.
against each other ish.
Yeah.
Like
That's what I'm
Georgia's in
saying.
'cause
Like,
they
you
win
have
the
like
SEC.
Georgia too being like.
Then
they
who's
could
the
be-
second SEC team?
Yeah.
Then you send an
Well-
Oregon team because you can't decide. Is that how
Yeah.
it works?
That's tough.
That's what I'm saying.
So you're saying if Georgia wins the
SEC,
SEC
They have
with
to be
one
put in.
loss?
They have to be put
Oh,
in.
definitely.
Oh.
Yeah.
over Bama, but Bama beat LSU, but Bama just lost in the last week, and LSU's 11-1 with a good resume. It'd just be so tricky. But
Yeah,
then
that'd
again,
be tough.
Bama beat LSU, so
I guess that
So
they
I'm saying
probably give it to LSU because they've had the strength of schedules
Yeah,
yeah, they
stronger
play
than
Florida,
Alabama.
Texas, Auburn.
And then that's what I'm just. It goes back to saying like Clemson's a great position. All they have to do is win the ACC
yeah, they just
championship.
have to
That's
yeah.
it.
beat
They're
the
fine.
cupcakes every week.
Yeah.
Beat themselves, really.
Yeah.
They're
Just-
fine.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what would happen in Penn State. I'm guessing they would just get left out.
I think they
Yeah, they have to win the Big
They
Ten.
have to win the Big Ten to be.
Yeah.
And that entails beating Ohio State, so they have to win out, basically.
Right.
Would you put? I mean, would Ohio State, could they be like say it shapes up? We have 2 Big Ten teams. Could Ohio State be in
No.
there? No.
There's no way.
Like say
Wait,
Penn
you
State
mean Penn
wins the Big
State?
Ten, and what happens to Ohio State?
maybe Ohio State get in the 4 seed. But
I think they'd get in.
Yeah, Ohio State's been so dominant. They've been so dominant. Like, I can't even.
No,
fathom
yeah.
them losing to
Me
Penn
too.
State
I don't think they could lose
at
either.
home.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's an interesting point. I think they would get the 4 seed over an LSU team with 1 loss. Ohio State's been so dominant.
Mm.
And,
Interesting.
yeah, so that's pretty much it for the CFP rankings. We also have Kansas State at 16, Oklahoma State, which is surprising at ranked 23. So hey, that's a ranked win for the boys. Hook 'em horns.
Yeah. Hey boys, we're in this.
They weren't
Yeah.
ranked when we played them, though.
Don't matter.
Well, no, it kind of does, but
And then
That's kinda weird to me,
LSU, Baylor is ranked at 12. 12.
Mhm.
yeah, they haven't moved.
Behind Auburn, behind Florida. So okay,
I
that's
buy
fine.
that.
We'll see what's up.
I guess it's the saying. I mean, that they haven't played anyone, or I don't know. What's with the disrespectful Baylor?
I just don't know how you have a 7-2 team over 8-0.
That's what I'm saying,
The
man. That's
Auburn.
just straight
That's just the
disrespectful.
SEC.
Yeah, even the Florida
2 7-2 SEC
SEC
teams.
teams over Baylor.
I mean, I'd put Florida over Baylor.
Why?
They
Why
just
though?
they
Why
look
though?
they look
Florida
so much
beaten?
better.
Who was Florida beaten?
I guess that's a fair point.
They're out of conference. Big Win
They
was
played
Miami.
really close
Yeah, just
loss.
like-
They've had really good quality losses.
Yeah.
They were
This
very
team's
close against
undefeated,
LSU, and they were pretty close against
Sounds like the same
Georgia.
thing they're
They
doing to UCF. A few
Their
years
big
back.
one was Auburn.
Yeah, fair point.
But then Auburn, I could see Auburn
Auburn's-
have that win over Oregon.
Yeah.
But I just think
At least ahead of one of these teams.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but, like,
I'd put them ahead of
disrespectful.
Auburn.
Yeah.
But it's all good. Baylor, they control their own destiny too. I mean, if they win out, they're in. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
it's all out.
It's the first one, so it's gonna change obviously.
Yeah.
I just remember like the first year. Was it the first year? Yeah, the first year where they had the Aggies at 4.
Oh, that was
That
wild.
was straight comedy.
That
bro.
lasted for like a week, and they were unranked.
That's what I'm saying. Like Penn State may not even be there in like a week.
Yeah, I mean the first poll each year, the number 1 team has never made
Gosh, true.
never won it all before. So that's Ohio State this year.
Mm.
Let's
Like,
see
it's
if
hard
they
seeing
can
them not win.
break the trend.
Yeah.
So yeah, we can move on from the poll now. It's just week 1 of college football playoff rankings,
Mhm.
but it's getting close now. We're home stretch of the season. But we'll talk recruiting real quick. We got a commit finally. It's
Good news.
Good breath of fresh air after the recent decommits. Dejon Harrison, wide receiver, gadget player out of Hutto. I don't know how you pronounce it, but it's an Austin area.
Hutto, yeah.
Hutto.
Hutto Hippos.
Hutto Hippo. That's a nice name.
It's fun.
But he had that cool video with Jamal Charles committing to Texas. But man, you watch this guy on film. He is so
Really
fast.
good.
I know he's a 3-star, but man, like I'm glad we got like.
Talent's there,
I-
man.
Is Jamal from here? From Hutto area?
No, he's
Austin
from Port
area?
Arthur. That's
Okay.
where he played
Like,
high school at.
what's that connection? I guess he just reached out.
I guess I think he called him his cousin. I don't know if he's actually his cousin.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that. He like, I'm like,
He said, "What's up?"
just called him
cuz?"
Cuz.
Now you're cutting around.
I'm guessing he's not, but
They might be cousins.
That'd be cool.
But yeah, you watch him on film. He can play DB, but I really want to play him on offense. So that speed, he's got great hips. He can move quickly.
Mhm.
And he's like very explosive, very dynamic. Kind of reminds me of Rondale Moore, just like the former UT commit now at Purdue.
Yeah.
For me,
Lovely.
We could have had him, bro.
you could have had him, bro. Been
Ugh.
dope.
But yeah, so that's a good sign. Hopefully we get some more. Maybe Alfred Collins in the bag soon. But and hold on to all of our guys, especially Bijan. So
Hell yeah.
yeah, I mean. Andrew Jones, real quick,
Oh,
before we get into picks,
yeah.
I'll be remiss if I don't talk about this. Andrew Jones, back from leukemia.
Bless up, man.
He just had a career high in
Balling out.
opening day for the Texas Longhorns basketball team, 20 points. He really just brought us the juice off the bench, and just so happy for him. And our basketball team didn't look very good. But
Shocker.
Andrew Jones was the shocker. Andrew Jones was the shining light in the darkness.
Straight
Yeah.
up, bro. I delivered cookies to him one time.
Oh, that's
It was
right. Yeah.
badass.
Oh man,
You told us about that.
He straight up did not give me a lot of day, but it was alright. It was alright. He tipped me, so it's all good. Good guy. Nice dog.
great person.
Nice dog.
He's
Yeah.
a dog. Oh,
Yeah.
that's nice.
Nice big black lab. Anyways, I'm glad he's back. It's good. It's been like he didn't play last season. He didn't have leukemia last season, right?
No,
No.
No,
he was still
He was
recovering,
still
kind
recovering.
of
So,
getting
like,
back
it's been
into
a while.
shape.
It's good to see him back on there. Definitely looks like an NBA talent.
Oh, he was so.
He was. I mean,
Yeah.
he was gonna go
Yeah,
for the
he was about to break-
NBA
yeah, he was
before.
about to break out. I really hope the best for that guy. He deserves it.
Yeah.
It's like surreal to see him actually like being healthy and like
Yeah.
not only just like being there for like emotional like support. He's like actually one of our best
Right.
players,
Yeah,
which is
for
just
sure.
crazy. Like how he was before he got cancer. So
Yeah.
hopefully he keeps it going and
Mhm.
maybe he can take our team decently far. I mean, we never
Yeah.
go anywhere.
Let's make the
Yeah,
tournament.
just get to
Yeah.
the tournament.
Maybe make some tournament.
Maybe win
Yeah.
a tournament
Round of
game.
64.
Let's go.
I mean, that's really all you have to do. That's all. I mean,
That's a victory.
Shaka's so like blessed to be in the position that he's in because like, you know, most programs like he'd be on the serious hot seat. Honestly, at this point, all he has to do is like get to the tournament and maybe win a game, and you're probably fine.
Yeah, no,
The
straight
standards
So-
become so low.
It
But I don't know, man.
has.
That contract was fat. That buyout was fat. And Del Conte's a no-nonsense type of guy. So I think Shaka's got to get it going this year.
Yeah.
He's going to make that.
They really like Shaka from what I've heard. Like they want him to work desperately.
Yeah, I mean, they kept
But-
him last season
Yeah.
when he was terrible. But-
Yeah, I don't know.
So they're giving him, this is his 5th year, so he's getting a fair chance. So
He
it's,
is
Yeah.
getting a fair
it's
chance.
now or never.
Should be interesting to see how that turns out. I don't know how I feel about this team though.
Yeah, I'm
I
just
don't.
kinda
I don't feel like
apathetic
there's
towards
really any stars.
I mean,
on
we
this
got
team.
Kai Jones, who might have NBA potential, a freshman, and Will
Yeah.
Baker, and Donovan Williams, the other freshman, look good too. But yeah, it's just too early to tell. And quite frankly, we've just been burned by them so many times. Like it's hard to even
Right.
care at this point. We'll,
Very true.
we'll check back in Big 12 play,
Yeah.
and maybe we'll be in the mix.
Maybe we'll do a
We're
basketball.
fair weather basketball
Are we
UT
so
fans.
in?
I'm sorry.
Should we comment below if we should do like a basketball show
Just
after
like, we
when
can
the
do
when
a
the
show. We
football
don't know
season?
enough, but like we can touch on it.
Yeah.
Definitely touch on it.
Yeah.
When the good things happen.
Yeah.
Straight up. I'm serious. I'm sorry.
When the when the college
I can't
football
deal with the
season's
double stretch,
over.
bro. We already suck at football right now, and like I can't do it again with basketball.
Yeah.
But yeah, so good to see you for the Horns. And anything else before we go into just our picks and locks?
I don't think
Well,
so.
I'm chilling.
I'm chilling, man. I'm ready to go get these locks in. I want food. I'm hungry.
Yeah, no, me too. Alright. We pick the games or
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
do picks and then locks.
Picks and locks.
All right, so there's two really big games this weekend. The first one is Penn State traveling to Minnesota. Two undefeated teams. Row the boat. PJ Fleck just got the extension. But
Yes.
Minnesota's finally going to be battle tested for the first time all season.
Right.
So
That's the thing.
this is an interesting game. It's 11 a.m., so it should be. I don't know why it's a morning game, but what do y'all got in this? I mean, it's kind of an interesting matchup. I don't.
Yeah.
I think I read somewhere Minnesota has like the weakest like strength of schedule.
They
Yeah,
do.
they're ranked 17.
Yeah,
They're
exactly.
like way behind Baylor.
Yeah,
even
so
though they're
I mean,
undefeated.
They're
deservedly
undefeated.
so. Penn State probably gonna ride that momentum. Although it would, I really like the passing game that Minnesota has. I forget. Man, I should probably look these names up more. But there's a wide receiver from Minnesota that's doing
Yes.
really good right now. You know what I'm talking
He's
about?
on my fantasy team.
Yeah.
He's a beast.
Um,
Is it Rodney Smith?
yeah.
Yeah, he's really
Yeah.
good.
So they have weapons. So it's not like they're like just completely like playing bums and just throwing anything out there. They have ballers. But I think Penn State is I like Clifford more than the Minnesota quarterback. So I'll definitely take Penn State here. Plus they just got ranked 4. I don't see them squandering immediately.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what they play Ohio State.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm taking Penn State as well. Like, as much as I really want to take Minnesota, half my family's from there. I have
Oh, nice.
I have family that went to Minnesota, so it's funny. Like, we really haven't talked about them all season, even though they've gone undefeated thus far. But yeah, their strength of schedule has just been really weak, and I don't know. I just got a feeling that Penn State's. I see it being like a close game, but
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised either.
I don't know.
Minnesota's talent.
Penn State's just been really solid overall, all around this year. I don't think they're beating Ohio State for the Big Ten, but they're really good. So
Yeah, I would love nothing more than for Minnesota to go knock off Penn State and go to 9-0 and set up the conference championship at the 12-0 Minnesota. Look at the playoff berth on the line against Ohio State. That would be amazing.
This
That'd
one
be
just looks
hilarious.
cool too, brother.
Yeah, it's a
Cool
fun little
brand.
brand. Yeah, no
Cool.
one talks about it ever, but
Cool.
I don't
helmets.
actually.
Forget
I
about 'em.
wouldn't want that because Ohio State would just beat the crap out of
Sure.
Minnesota.
yeah, it'd be like a 59-0
It'd
type
be
game.
so yeah.
But it'd be
Still be
cool
funny.
for the memes.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
But yeah, Penn State, just James Franklin, that way too talented, way more battle-tested.
Yeah.
Penn State,
Definitely.
probably by multiple scores at the end.
Yeah.
The other big game of the week, no longer 1 versus 2. It's now 2 versus 3. LSU travels to Bama.
Awkward.
Yeah, I know, right?
I feel like the AP poll was trying so hard to get
Exactly.
1 versus 2.
Yeah.
They're like, we need it.
Yeah. I think they were being a little too favorable to LSU. They were like, just
I know.
put them up there.
No, towards Bama. Bama at rank 2.
Oh, yeah,
Over
them
Ohio
too.
State.
Yeah.
That was my glitch.
Both of them.
Yeah,
both of
both
them,
of
I
them.
think, are a little high. But, yeah.
So this is gonna be one of those weird. Not one of those weird. It is gonna be weird because it's gonna flip the script on so many LSU Bama games that are just like
Yeah.
low scoring, pro style offense.
Yeah.
Now this is gonna be high scoring, and
Well-
it's,
Playing some Big 12 ball now.
I know, and
It might be. It might
It's
not
all
be.
about the air raid with these teams now. I was trying to think about who has the advantage at quarterback, and I'm kind of, I don't know. I think it's equal as of right now. I like Tua better as a quarterback personally,
Yeah.
but Joe Burrow has shown that he's just in the Heisman race and just as good as Tua this season at least. I know LSU just lost Michael Divinity. He's no longer with the team. That's a hit on their defense.
Yeah, he's a good player.
Did LSU lose a cornerback or something? I forget. I'm sorry.
I don't know if they did.
But all being said, they've been passed on, even with the talents of Grant Delpit and everything they have in the secondary. They've been passed on all season. This is really tough for me. I like for a little part of me thinks like for some reason like whoever runs the ball better might win this game, and I like Najee Harris
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
better.
definitely.
And I think the committee that LSU hasn't really been producing them that well. So I'm definitely gonna pick Bama in this game. It's gonna be high scoring. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be real fun. But I'll take Bama.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good
I didn't-
pick.
I thought... So I'm taking Bama too, and I wasn't expecting
Really?
either of y'all to pick Bama. Like, I'd say that LSU is probably... Well, they are the favorite in this game. And I
They're
mean,
not the
if...
favorite. LSU is?
Yeah, aren't they the favorite for this
I
game?
thought it was Bama like
Right
minus
now.
6.
Oh, really? Oh,
It is Bama minus 6.
wow. LSU's ranked higher, though.
Weird, right?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's a history thing.
And also Bama being at home.
Yeah,
Bama
being on
being on
home
the
probably
mental
is the
edge,
big thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. If LSU's going to finally beat Bama, this is their year to do it.
Yeah.
I'd say that
Definitely.
overall, they really kind of match Bama talent for talent. This Bama team isn't quite as strong as past Bama teams have been, at least from a defensive side. That's mostly because of injuries, but overall too. Offensively, they're still really big time though. The receiving core is elite.
I didn't even touch on that. Yeah, the receiving cores in this game are gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
Just endless NFL
NFL, I was about to
receivers.
say NFL guys
Right.
on both sides. Like,
Scouts
Jesus.
are gonna
Multiple.
be drooling over this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. Something about this LSU team, I just feel like they got a loss in them, and that it hasn't happened yet. And even though, like, I feel like there's a bit of magic with them this season. Like, I wouldn't say that they've gotten lucky per se, but there's been a few, like, kind of close calls. I mean, we were kind of a close call. Florida was kind of a close call for them. Auburn was kind of a close call. I don't know. Bama just kind of strikes. I mean, should never count out Nick Saban, especially in
Exactly.
these big SEC games. He always seems to kind of find a way. The interest. I mean, it'll all kind of come down to whether or not Tua is going to play in this game. I expect him to.
Oh, yeah. He's gonna play.
It's such a big game
If it doesn't
that.
happen, I would not
I mean, it's
watch.
the biggest game of the year for them. So outside of the SEC championship, which they inevitably are probably going to get to.
Wait, who is?
Bama.
Inevitably? So you're thinking it's inevitable that Bama beats LSU? And
No, I think it's inevitable that they get to the SEC championship game.
that would require them.
Oh, well, yeah, I guess it would require them. Well, I still
Trevor,
think it
you're
is
on Bama.
inevitable. I don't know. I mean,
It's a Bama shill.
yeah. I don't know. They've just
Funded by Bama.
I don't know. I'm picking Bama. I just have a feeling. I mean, it's more so feeling than like, seeing it raw. But them being at home, and I don't know. I just have a feeling that LSU's got a loss in them, and yeah.
I will say
Bama in a
it's
close
weird
one.
to see LSU undefeated. Doesn't feel right.
Yeah, it is bizarre. This LSU team is different, as we all saw. Joe Burrow is freaking slinging it these days. The receivers, they got NFL receivers for days, and their defense, while it has been worse, it's still talented like crazy. And I think for a game like Bama, they will play up and make some plays, especially with Derek Stingley. He might get interception. I think LSU, they've wanted to be Bama for so bad for so long. And they just haven't done it.
Yeah.
I think they smell blood this season. They know that their team is legit. And I think they're going to hurt Tua or get after him and make him really uncomfortable with that ankle. We saw that last season, like his lingering injuries. I don't know if it was an ankle or not, but
I think it was, yeah.
people kept
Yeah,
on
it was
banging
an
him
ankle.
up as the season rolled on. That's why he lost the Heisman. So I think this is one of the deals where Tua takes a hit in the first quarter.
Go
Caleb
for
on
the
chasing. And yeah, seriously.
Shoestring tackles.
At this point, like, you're trying to win a national championship, and it's out there to get. So I wouldn't be surprised if they go for Tua and try to hurt him and make his day uncomfortable. And I think LSU pulls it off in Tuscaloosa, setting themselves up for the SEC championship against Georgia.
Yeah, that's a good pick because while Bama's undefeated, this is not one of the dominant Bama teams.
Yeah.
that we've seen.
Yeah,
That's what I was saying
and
earlier.
their defense. We talk about LSU's defense being suspect. Bama's defense is probably worse.
Yeah. No, definitely.
Yeah.
So I think the leadership. I think Ed O's just got something cooking this year. So yeah,
Fair
LSU.
Go Toggles.
On the locks,
Yes, sir.
which we are abysmal.
Oh man, let's. I want y'all to list off y'all's records. Both of y'all, the last week.
Last week?
Yes.
Oh, last week I was 0-2, straight up, man.
I was
Um,
0-3.
0-3. Yeah, I went 2-1. Keeping us afloat,
Hey,
but
hey,
it's not good.
not
No.
looking good, man.
Like Texas, we have fallen into a serious slump.
Yeah,
So our overall record now is 35-29.
Still positive?
We're still +6. Like
Yeah.
that's still money in the grave.
We'll take that.
But at the same time, like I
Dude.
wouldn't listen to it
yeah.
for a while.
Maybe take one
Maybe
pick.
this week we'll fix it.
Yeah.
No, my two are definitely gonna hit.
I feel
I
confident
found
this
easy
week,
picks.
man. I don't know about this week.
We say that
What about
every-
you guys?
well,
but I'm feeling good.
I guess past couple weeks I didn't feel all that
No, I'm feeling-
confident,
no,
but
we got this. It's a mindset.
I don't know
a
anymore.
mindset
At this
thing.
point, it's just everything's a coin flip.
Fair enough.
The college football season, like I feel like at the beginning of the season, stuff is a little bit more predictable, but like once you hit past that midway point, like
Yeah.
stuff starts happening, and
Yeah, injuries and just
yeah,
the temperatures of teams, like in terms of their motivation and their locker room, all that changes. So
right.
Definitely.
and the fan interest dies down like ours has. So yeah, a bunch of different variables in play. But let's start off with Trevor.
All right.
Get this shit.
So, so I got 3 picks per usual. Baylor only a 1 point, at least as of when I last checked, they're only a 1 point favorite against TCU, which is shocking to me. I'm taking the over with that. Baylor covering. Everything to me shows that Baylor is going to win this game really without a problem. Yeah, I really don't have to expand on it that much more than that. I'm really surprised at the 1 point. I guess
That's
they're saying
weird.
it because it's like a rivalry game, but I mean, Baylor's clearly the better team
The
than
Holy Bowl,
GCU.
They are a
The
better
Holy
team.
Bowl.
And Baylor and TCU's quarterback situation is absolutely a dumpster fire right now. They're onto their if Max Duggan doesn't play, he's banged up. They're onto literally their scout team quarterback.
Wow.
He's like a redshirt freshman, like literally their 6th-string quarterback. Everybody else is hurt.
The
or
guy they
transferred
beat up on in
or quit the
practice.
team. So
Damn.
and they just beat up on us. So it's kind of sad, but that's a good pick.
Yeah. Next pick I have is Ohio State is 44-point favorites over Maryland. There's no reason to expect Ohio State not to win this game and not to win it by a considerable margin. However, I do think that 44 is a little bit high, especially with their big games that they have coming up. I think that this game they're maybe going to not quite go as ham as they have as of late. I think they're going to relax a bit and maybe win by like 35. because
You know,
that's not all that much
40
by their
maybe.
standards. Yeah, maybe hit 40 or 41. 44 to me though seems a little bit high.
Yeah.
I know Maryland's not a good team, but they're also not like Rutgers. So
Yeah.
I'm taking the under with that. And then Clemson 32-point favorites versus NC State. Clemson is on cruise control mode, like they have been really all season. And while they have won big in a lot of games, especially as of late, I'm taking the under with this game. I'd see them probably winning by like 28, maybe 30. So just missing that 32 mark. But I don't know. I just kind of have a feeling that they're not going to cover. So those are my locks.
Nice picks. This week I just have two. I'm really looking to rebound this week. I need it, but
we both do.
I'm feeling pretty confident in this one. In these two. First, we got Wake Forest favored 2.5 against Virginia Tech. Wake Forest coming off the bye had a great game, and Virginia Tech is not good. So the reason I'm doing
They almost beat Notre Dame.
They almost beat Notre Dame, but still not good. Straight up, I feel like this is an easy call. I need the dubs. So Wake Forest 2.5. I like. Of course, as you guys know, I like the quarterback and the receiver. So I'm gonna stick with them.
This man will ride Wake Forest into the grave.
I will. I will. No, I'll die.
Those are your day twos right now,
I
aren't
know,
they?
straight up.
Right.
Straight up. And then the second one is Boston College 2.5 favorites against Florida State. As we all know, Florida State just fired their head coach, and that program is not coming back to prominence for maybe a decade. It's gonna be forever.
Yeah, they're
expect
invested.
AJ Dillon
They
to have
gotta
a
climb.
big game. They'll definitely win by more than 3. So those, to me, those feel really safe. They'll put Duke dubs on me.
don't
I
know,
feel
man.
good about
You're
those.
betting on the ACC. I stay away from those.
Yeah,
ACC teams.
but yeah, those are always so flip flop.
Nah, trust the process.
Trust the
honestly.
process, bro. Trust the process. Yeah, those are my two.
Nice. All right, I'm doing 2 this week. First of all, we're gonna do Tennessee +1 at Kentucky. That is just a layup. Kentucky is not good at all this season, and Tennessee has been on a tear recently. They're like on a winning streak. They're about to close the season out with like 7 or 8 wins, go to a bowl, something
Good
like
for
that.
them.
They're really turning it around after that opening week loss to Georgia Southern. So I think Tennessee wins this one by more than a point. Wait, Tennessee is the underdog by 1, so they could even lose by a point. So yeah, Tennessee for
Interesting.
sure.
Whoa, that's
Rocky
weird.
top.
Kentucky favorite?
I don't understand.
Yeah. Okay.
And then OU -13.5 against Iowa State at home. I think OU, they've had that bye week after that loss, so they're chopping at the bit to get back out there and avenge that loss. And
Yeah.
Iowa State's going to be the
Jalen's
unlucky
pissed.
duckling. Yeah, that just has to do
Rat
with
poison.
angry Oklahoma. So I think OU blows out Iowa State. So 13.5. I think they cover that. So those are my 2
yeah.
picks.
You know what? I feel good about all these picks.
Yeah, hell
I feel
yeah.
like in past weeks there's been a few where I'm like, oh, this could go either way, but I don't know. Like,
Who's to say we won't go undefeated this week?
we're
Why not us?
this
bro?
is the turnaround.
Why not us?
We're turning it around like Texas. Hopefully,
Yes.
will turn it
Yeah,
around.
if you feel free to invest on these picks. Spend your hard-earned money on
Yes.
these.
Follow my advice. Spend your money. I am your god.
Yeah. Cool.
All right.
Well, that wraps up today's show. Yeah, we just had a bye week, so you got to take some time off, not watch.
No
maybe,
stress.
Yeah, not stress out, not have to watch Texas football, but we're back at it again. Day game, so at least your night will be free to do whatever you please. And yeah, comment, let us know what you thought of the show, what you thought of having some new topics on the show, and I guess, yeah, leave your feedback, leave your input. We appreciate all of it. And thank you for listening.
Don't forget to subscribe.
Yeah, don't forget to subscribe. Any final words
If
from
you're
you
still
guys?
here with us at this point in the video, I love you.
You're the
Yeah,
real
you're day one right
MVP.
there. You're day one. You
Yeah.
Keep me going, fam.
Yeah. We
Y'all
do it
are
for y'all.
awesome.
The real
The
fans.
real ones.
Yes. All
Alright.
right.
See
Y'all
you
take
later.
care.
Okay.
Longhorn Nation, we're back.